Namaste everyone. In today's video, I wanted to share with you some learnings that I received recently by watching a TED Talk that was actually done by, presented by Emily F. Sani. I hope I'm not mispronouncing her name. Her last name is Smith. And watching Emily's video kind of inspired me, and so I thought, let me inspire you guys by sharing that knowledge as well. My name is Priya. I'm very passionate about sharing positivity and empowering everyone to live their life to their fullest potential. We have the capability to create our life the way we want it, so let's make it beautiful together. So in today's topic, I thought about talking about happiness because recently I watched a TED Talk presented by Emily, and I recently also read an article about happiness and how people are always pursuing happiness and what does it actually mean. And it made me reflect on certain things that was important in my life, and I thought maybe I'll share this knowledge with you guys so you can also reflect and learn from it as well. And some of these things that you might have already know and practice already, and if you do, please do put your comments below and share your experiences with me as well. So basically, Emily was mentioning that people are often pursuing happiness, but they go through this, chasing after happiness throughout their whole life. We want certain type of career in our life, so therefore we attain a certain type of education in our life, and then we have this image of a happy family, so we want certain type of person, a certain type of environment, and whatever it is, we are always pursuing happiness. But sometimes we forget to live in the moment when we are always chasing after happiness, and what that makes us is actually it makes us lose our happiness. We actually become anxious. We become, we end up suffering because we're always chasing after. We're tired and we chase and we chase and we chase, and we haven't received it yet because we're not fulfilled. So that fulfillment doesn't come in when you're always chasing after happiness. So Emily actually did a full research on this. And she studied this for many years and put it together in a simple format. And she basically said there's more to life than happiness. And that pretty much sums it up by when she says it's actually about living a meaningful life. So living a meaningful life is more important than pursuing happiness, because happiness can come and go. You can in any event, in any actions, or in anything that happens to you, there could be happiness, or you can reflect on it and think about it in a positive way or a negative way. So there's good and bad. But then when you live a meaningful life, it doesn't matter what those experiences are, because you feel fulfilled. You feel that you're living your full potential, full meaningful life, the way you want it. So she mentioned that there's 4 pillars to live a meaningful life. And the first one she mentioned is a sense of belonging. And this one I was able to relate to an article that I read recently as well. I can't recall the title right now, but if I remember, I will post it. I'll type it below. But basically, that article also mentioned a sense of belonging as building relationships, because we are being of love. Anything that's evolved in love, the relationships that's evolved in love, a sense of belonging has to be where you feel valued for who you are. And then it also works the other way around when you are valuing someone for who they are as well. So it can also work negative when you're trying to have that sense of belonging by changing who you are or changing your belief system just to fit in. It's not that, because that's not going to bring you happiness. It's when you have that sense of belonging, when you actually belong somewhere where people accept you for who you are, and at the same time you accept others for who they are as well. And this kind of made me reflect, because Emily told a story behind where there was this person that went to the store to buy newspaper every single day, and they built this relationship with that person, that store owner, and they, every day they exchange a little bit of conversation before he, brings the newspaper back. But one day he didn't have enough change, and that person was like, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. But instead of accepting that offer, he actually went and bought more stuff just so he can match the money, so he doesn't owe anything to that person. So he had a large amount of money, and he wanted to make sure he doesn't owe the store owner anything. But that made that store owner feel really bad, because it's like he was trying to give something to that person who he thought he's creating a relationship, but he felt rejected. And we often do that in smaller ways. And I was able to reflect based on my experiences as well, because I often love giving, but I don't like receiving, because it's just the way my parents brought me up, where there's no such thing as free lunch. So it's like, and that's the way I was brought up, where like everything you need to give back, you need to give back. So for me, I was like, oh yeah, because sometimes when people are giving us something, it actually makes them feel good. So you should accept it, because if you're saying no, 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 you don't want it, you think you feel bad that you're robbing from them, or like, you know, you're taking more than what you're supposed to. But they actually feel good when you give, when they give to us. So you're actually rejecting them in a way where they're not able to give, and that's not making them feel good. So it's actually, then you have to realize that it's not just about who you are and how other people are accepting you, but it's like, how are you reacting to other people, and how are you accepting them for who they are as well. So that's number one, belonging. Relationships is the key in that sense of belonging. The second one is purpose. The second pillar is purpose. Purpose is like finding your why. So when you do something, most of us can relate to the job we do, but not everyone can do jobs that they truly feel the purpose, because sometimes people are doing the 9 to 5 just to provide to their family, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're doing what they can in the moment, but at least find something on the side where you feel meaningful, where you're living your life in a meaningful way by pursuing your purpose and finding what that purpose is and living your life. It could be something that you're helping others, or it could be your own family, where you feel purposeful when you're helping your family, or it could be something you're helping a neighbor or friends or someone around the world where you don't even know who they are, but you just want to help them. So anything, in any way we're doing some sort of service, it gives you a sense of fulfilling your purpose. So find your why, and and it's usually best basically when you work with your strength. Whatever your strength is, use that to provide service. And if you feel like you are not strong at anything, but sometimes we all go through that when we feel like we're not good enough for any of the things that we're doing, then basically build yourself, build your skill sets, build yourself, and get there and provide service. It's better than just being stuck and not feeling good about yourself and not being able to serve others as well. The third pillar Emily mentioned is basically, so the first one is sense of belonging. Second one is purpose. Third one is transcendent. Transcendent is when you feel beyond yourself. It's like, and it could be like, when you go to a temple or church, sometimes people feel that the spirituality they feel in there, that could be transcendent. It could be in artwork, that you like going to museum or painting, or you like painting and you dwell yourself in that. It could be in like an hour a week even. But whatever you do, when you go into that transcendent mode, then it kind of takes you out of that self-observant, and you try to serve more people in that moment. So it could work for better. You would feel more meaningful, because it sets you it connects you to your higher self in that moment. And the fourth, the last pillar that Emily mentioned is storytelling, which is interesting, because she mentioned how we create our life, and because we are creators. So when we tell our story to ourselves, it's not about what we tell it to others, but it's how we tell our story to ourselves. So how I tell my story to me is basically storytelling. And how, basically, because I'm a creator, I can edit it, I can retell it in a different way, to make things differently, or to see things differently, to have a different perspective, and that can expand our meaning in our life, bring more meaning to our life. And she basically set an example of this where someone who was always in sports, basically an athletic, who was always playing sports, and then all of a sudden, like, that was his life all the time, and then all of a sudden he got injured and he couldn't play anymore. Then most people in that moment would feel that their life is over, like, and most people kind of go through this as the first stage when they go through any sorts of suffering like that, when they, you know, had it good, they had it great, and all of a sudden something happened and they can't continue. They feel like their life ended. They feel like they're not good enough anymore. Everything is bad from now on. They don't know which direction in life they should move forward with. But sometimes when you tell yourself that story, and then you change it around and say, okay, now it's time for me to provide more meaning and provide more service to people, because all this time I was just doing service to myself by, you know, doing what I was good at by being an athletic. But now that person is coaching and being a mentor to others, to children, then they're actually providing their service to others. So it's changing how you look at things, and finding meaning in even the little things that comes in your way, and then being able to live your life so meaningful in that way. I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, share this with people that are close to you, and if you're new to my channel, please click the subscribe button, and then click the notification button as well. I'm very determined to creating weekly videos for you guys to empower you to live the best version of you. Until then, namaste.